government area of Anambra State. The police, in a statement by spokesperson Tochukwu Ikenga, said the confirmation of the number of deaths arise from the visit of the police commissioner to Keja community where the incident happened. While commiserating with families of the deceased, he stressed that investigation into the unfortunate incident is still ongoing with the view of finding the remote cause. According to him, the police command remains dedicated to ensuring the safety and well-being of Anambra people in crime prevention. It will be recalled that the tragic incident occurred on Saturday during a rice-sharing event organized by a foundation to support the less privileged during the festive season. Still on that, the federal government on Sunday extended its condolences to families of those who lost their lives in recent stampedes during food distribution exercises in Ibadan, Abuja and Okija. The tragic event, which occurred as people gathered and received aid, have sparked calls for better crowd management at public events. No fewer than 39 Nigerians lost their lives following stampedes during food-sharing events in Okija, Anambra State. Muhammad Idris described the incidents as deeply saddening and expressed solidarity with the victims' families and others affected. He emphasized the need for organizers of such activities to prioritize safety measures to prevent similar occurrences. The minister advised all individuals and organizations planning charitable events during the festive season to collaborate with the police and National Emergency Management Agency to ensure effective crowd control and security. He noted that adherence to the directive issued by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, was essential for safeguarding lives and maintaining order. Idris also cautioned against politicizing the incident, stating that the stampedes were unrelated to the economic reforms introduced by President Bola Tinubu's administration. The national leadership of Christian Association of Nigeria, led by Archbishop Daniel Loko, has expressed condolences to the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Primetime, Abuja, and families of the victims who lost their lives during a palliative distribution event on Saturday. 10 people, including children, died, while 8 others sustained injuries during a stampede at the church premises. In a statement on Sunday titled "The Heartfelt Response to the Tragedy at Holy Trinity Catholic Church," Oko described the victims as not just statistics, but as individuals whose death represented grieving families. Oko noted that the incident was part of a worrying trend, citing 2 other stampedes in Oyo and Anambra State earlier in the week, which underscored the challenges of managing large crowds during charitable events. He urged Nigerians to show solidarity and compassion for the grieving families, emphasizing that the shared concern following the tragedy was a testament to our common humanity. Not to other stories. The judge to Nigerians to renew their faith in God despite the state of the nation. He stated that nothing happening in the world takes by surprise, adding that God has planned for everything and every situation. Speaking at the 2024 Nigeria Police Force Christmas Carol in Abuja, Pastor Adegboye emphasized that Jesus is in absolute control of all situations. He urged individuals who desire God's intervention in their lives to call on Jesus. He also encouraged the nation to turn to Christ if they want their challenges resolved, stating that the moment Jesus steps into any situation, failure and fruitlessness will disappear. The event was graced by several dignitaries, including the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, who shared insights and lessons during the carol service.
When God is seated in heaven, his legs reach down to the earth. Since he's using the earth as his footstool, it means when he's seated in the heavens, everything that is going on here on earth is under his control. That's all. Whether small or great, he controls the one who considers himself as the #1 citizen of the whole world.
Fruit with seed in it, they will be yours for food. and to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it. I give every green plant for food. And it was so.
Taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, from verses 6 to 7.
Not to other stores, the federal government has lifted the ban on mining exploration in Zamfara state. It said the decision was taken after a careful review of the security situation across the state. Recall that in 2019, the government under former President Muhammadu Buhari announced a complete no-fly zone due to the prevailing insecurity in the state. However, in a statement released on Sunday by Segun Tomori, the Minister of Solid Minerals, a Special Assistant on Media, Dele Alake, said that the President and National Security Advisor had evaluated the security situation and approval had been granted to start mining exploration in the state. He stated that the nation has a lot to gain from reawakened economic activities in a highly mineralized state like Zamfara, which is imbued with vast gold, lithium and copper belts. He noted that the decision has brought formal activities in the mining sector in the state to a total halt, leaving the field to illegal operators. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Nigerian Defense Academy reviews a lot of successes in military training and academic activities in 2024. Details of that and more coming after the break. Please stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with thoughts on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now to the story teased earlier, the Nigerian Defense Academy said it has recorded a lot of successes in military training and academic activities in 2024. The Commandant of NDA, Major General John Uchai, said these are the Nigerian Defense Academy social activities held at the headquarters of the Academy Afaka in Kaduna. He said the 2024 NDASA was unique because the Academy marked 60 years of existence from 1964 to 2024. Also of significance, Ochai said the NDA passed out the largest number of officers commissioned into the Armed Forces of Nigeria in 2024, while the special guest of honor, Martin Zamaram, says that the Nigerian Defense Academy stands as a symbol of strength and identity for the country. He commended the Academy for keeping its standard since inception.
We celebrate not only the achievements of this institution, we hope that the momentum that we build will continue to develop and grow. This goes to reinforce what I've always said and believe in, that the Nigerian Defense Academy does not just train leaders.
The program, like we have said, is welfare, fostering our cultural heritage. So the young officers or the young cadets you see in training, so just like I said, it's a way of imbibing that same culture in them, so that when they leave, they still know that culture itself is part of the bedrock of whatever we do. Yes, even as military officers, you don't forget where you come from. You don't forget, your foundation. And this is why this is really necessary, at least to bring everybody together, understand all of that.
The Nigerian police force has rejected the claims by Amnesty International in its report Bloody August, Nigeria's government's violent crackdown on the End Bad Governance protest. The report, which alleged the killing of at least 24 individuals by police in 6 northern states during the protest, has been described as false, misleading and inconsistent with verified records. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the force public relations officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, at a press briefing in Abuja on Sunday, said all the incidents of violence during the protests were meticulously documented by police command across the country. He revealed that an independent investigation panel constituted. Still on security, the Ogun State Governor, Dakwa Abiodun, has challenged the Nigerian police and other security agencies in the state to ensure a robust security architecture and strategies that would ensure adequate protection of lives and properties during the Christmas period. The governor made the charge in Abeokuta, the state capital, when he received the new commissioner of police, Ogun State Command, Lanre Ogunlowo, who paid him a courtesy visit in his office in the state capital. The governor commended the security agencies for ensuring peace and tranquility, noting, however, that unscrupulous people are bound to take advantage of the period to cause security breaches in the state. The new Commissioner of Police, CP Lanre Ogunlowo, who announced the donation of 2 armored personnel carriers to the state by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betogun, however, promised to work together with other security agencies to achieve the desired. Nigerians have been urged to live a life of hard work and integrity at all times that will promote nation building as well as the Yoruba cultural values. This call was made known by cultural enthusiasts, including the Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly at the annual Omoluabi Festival held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Speaker after speaker said young Nigerians must come to the understanding that hard work, diligence is far better than quick success. Hence today to celebrate outstanding Nigerians for showcasing the essence of Yoruba cultural values. They noted against all odds.
In churches, in mosques, even in the political setting, if you do not have money, whatever you have in your head have no meaning. So that is why the youths are they are tailoring their behavior towards making money first. So my advice for them is, like I said, money is good, but your name is very important. There's a Yoruba adage that says, "Bibi ire o se fowora." Even when you have money and you don't have integrity, it doesn't have any meaning. But the society has become like this. I also want them to know that it is important for them to protect their name.
The latest payment of local government allocations to state government, despite Supreme Court judgment, has been seen by many Nigerians as a contempt. On July 11, 2024, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment affirming the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local government councils and gave a stipulated timeline for compliance, which has so far elapsed, and in lieu of this, people are not happy with the latest release of local government allocation by Federal Allocation Council to the state government. Galaxy News correspondent Labi Joseph has more in this report.
The Supreme Court ruling that granted full autonomy to local government administration across Nigeria was welcomed by all and sundry, and it was seen as a way to go for better local government administrations. The Supreme Court's decision declared it unconstitutional for state governors to withhold funds allocated to local government councils.
I don't see any reason why a state government should not comply with the judgment of the Supreme Court. I don't see any reason why the federal government should continue to pay the money through the state government, because that means that they are in contempt. Both the state government and the federal government are in contempt of the Supreme Court, which is
moment the judgment is passed, it becomes the law.
It's a fact that for local government, which is the third tier of government, to function well, there must be a free, fair, and conducive ground for it to operate within and fully by the Nigeria constitutional provision. Local governments need to manage their finances, collect revenues, and allocate resources without state government interferences.
It is clear-cut. Local government exists on their own, the state as well, and the federal. So it is the manipulations of the executive arm of government that leads to almost the abolition of the position of the local government.
Government autonomy is the way to go. The moment to allow the local government, although there are several local government chairmen, I think because they were dependent on the state, that is why so many local government chairmen are not bothered about performance. They just collect the money, the allocation, go and share, and then some of them don't even live in the local government.
This is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Human rights violation is no doubt a global phenomenon, which Nigeria is not an exception. Illegal arrest by security operatives and delay in justice dispensation at the court of law are strong areas where people's rights are frequently violated in Nigeria. Many innocent people are languishing in detention and many are being arrested for trivial matters. Galaxy News correspondent Lebi Joseph tells us more in this report.
Human rights is an integral part of God's gift to humans, and violation of these rights is a total decline in the essence of life. Inside the four walls of correctional centers across Nigeria, there are many inmates languishing in detention for no cogent reasons. Also, the issue of criminal defamation is gradually becoming a tool of intimidation for decent voices in the country.
We take note of the despicable spate of increasing pretrial inmates in our custodial centers. Then we are also making this call for action. About 80% of the entire population you see in the entire 253 custodial centers we have in Nigeria is made up of pretrial inmates, divided mainly into these cases, offenses, which can be tried by the magistrate court.
I wonder in Nigeria, why is it that when there is a bail application before a judge that touches on the fundamental freedom of liberty of the individual, the lawyers have spoken, oh, give him bail. The prosecutor says, don't give him bail. Why must the judge then adjourn for a week to think of the decision he's going to take on the bail application? On the bail application that touches on the liberty. So, first of all, you say,
bearing the plight of the people will be a great thing that could make the society a better place.
The reminder of news that made headlines during the week. Tracking the Week is up next.
Hello and welcome to Tracking the Week. On Monday, the federal government announced free train transportation nationwide between the 20th of December to the 5th of January. This is inconsistent with President Tinubu's desire to cushion the transit. Mohammed Idris hinted this while addressing State House correspondents as part of the resolutions reached at the last Federal Executive Council meeting for year 2024. Also, at the council meeting, President Tinubu raised a motion for the remaining of the University of Abuja to Yakubu Gowon University. Minister of Education Dr. Olatunji Alausi announced that this motion was anonymously approved by the council in recognition of the invaluable contribution of the elder statesman and former head of state to national unity. Still on Monday, the latest payment of local government allocations to state governments despite Supreme Court judgment has been seen by many Nigerians as a contempt. On July 11, 2024, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment affirming the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local government councils and gave a stipulated timeline for compliance, which has so far elapsed, and in lieu of this, people are not happy with the latest release of local government allocation by Federal Allocation Council to the state government. The Supreme Court ruling that granted full autonomy to local government administration across Nigeria was welcomed by all and sundry, and it was seen as a way to go for better local government administrations. The Supreme Court decision declared it unconstitutional for state governors to withhold funds allocated to local government councils. It is a fact that for local government, which is the third tier of government, to function well, there must be a free, fair and conducive ground for it to operate within and fully by the Nigerian constitutional provision. On Tuesday, the Nigerian Senate called on the federal government to fund the establishment of modern ranches nationwide to enhance safety and economic productivity for herders and local communities. The resolution during Tuesday's plenary followed a motion by Senator Anthony Siyako Yaro, representing Gombe South, on the recent banditry attacks in Biliri local government area, Gombe State, where suspected herders killed residents, destroyed properties and displaced scores of people. Correspondent Kuliojo reports that Senator Seraki Dixon, representing Bayelsa West, in his contribution, described ranching as a sustainable solution to the herder community conflict, urging collaboration between relevant ministries and Senate committees to develop a nationwide ranching framework. Senator Adams Oshomole, on the other hand, called for revisiting a prior resolution to hold a public hearing on security and economic challenges under the ECOWAS to prioritize an ongoing effort to transform and revitalize the education sector in Nigeria. Minister of Education Dr. Maruf Tunja Lausa, who announced this in Abuja during a meeting with the 36 state and Federal Capital Territory Commissioners of Education, said the review of the roadmap of his predecessor was not a policy somersault. Technology, engineering, mathematics and medical sciences, education, reducing the number of out-of-school children, enhancing technical and vocational education and training, advancing girl-child education, harnessing data and digitalization, and strengthening quality assurance mechanisms. According to the minister, Alausa added that the meeting centered on developing a comprehensive reform agenda where state commissioners were expected to key into government initiatives to improve educational standards in the country. On Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu arrived at the National Assembly complex before noon with his entourage to present the 2025 budget proposal before a joint session of the Parliament. The Federal Executive Council approved the 47.96 trillion naira budget estimate for the 2025 fiscal year. Consequently, security agents comprise an operative of the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Sergeant at Arms, and the Federal Road Safety Corps are restricting access to the complex as state. Staff members of the National Assembly providing clerical and other auxiliary services were told to remain at home until the President's visit was over. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives were all present at the joint session. The medium-term expenditure frame and fiscal strategy paper, on which the budget preparation is premised, had been passed by both chambers of the National Assembly. Still on Wednesday, the Oyo State government expressed deep sorrow over the tragic loss of lives resulting from a stampede at the private children's fun fair in Ibadan. The incident, which occurred at Bashirun Islamic High School in the early hours of Wednesday, claimed the lives of Barrister Bayo Lawal, said emergency agencies immediately transported victims to various hospitals across Ibadan for urgent medical care. He clarified that the Oyo State government and security agencies were not involved in the planning or logistics of the private event, and stressed the need for proper coordination and safety measures for events involving children and vulnerable groups. Authorities are awaiting a comprehensive report from the Commissioner of Police to ascertain the total number of victims and determine the circumstances leading to the tragic event. On Thursday, the Nigerian Senate passed for second reading the 2025 appropriation bill of 49.7 trillion naira presented before the joint session of the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu. The passage of the budget came as the Senate adjourned its plenary session until January 14, 2025 to allow lawmakers to partake in the Christmas and New Year festivities. Correspondent Kulujo reported that leading a debate on the general principles of the 2025 appropriation bill during the plenary on Thursday, the Senate leader Opemi Bamidele announced that the bill is deemed to have been read for the first time by the presentation before the joint session of the National Assembly, hence the commencement of the general debate. Bamidele listed major highlights of the budget to include oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel and daily oil production estimate of 2.06 million barrels per day and exchange rate of 1,500 naira to the US dollar for the 2025 fiscal year. Majority of the senators who made the contributions to the debate commended President Tinubu for the budget, saying it was indeed a budget of restoration. Still on Thursday, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice faulted the suspension of the local government chairman in Edo State by Governor Monday Okpebolo. The 18 local government chairman and vice chairman were placed in suspension on December 17 by the State House of Assembly at the instance of the governor. Governor Okpebolo had accused the chairman and the deputies of insubordination and misconduct on the ground that they did not submit their statement of finances to him. However, answering questions from newsmen at a public function in his office, Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigeria SAN, said that it was only the legislative arm of local government that can sack or place council chairmen on suspension. Correspondent Kuluju reported that Fagbemi said that under the current dispensation, local government chairmen cannot just be removed or suspended by any governor without following due process of law. He disclosed that since July 11, when the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment, local government administration has taken a new turn different from the older order. On Friday, the new permanent secretary in the Federal Ministry of Works, Engineer Olufunsho Olusesan Adebiyi, has highlighted allegation of lopsidedness of project as one of the pressing challenges facing the ministry, calling for the cooperation of all staff in this regard. Engineer Adebiyi, while speaking during his official resumption of the ministry in Abuja, noted that various regions often accuse the ministry of prioritizing some areas over others, creating tension and dissatisfaction. Correspondent Kulujo reports that the new permanent secretary assured that such issues will be resolved with critical road infrastructure in line with the renewed hope agenda. Engineer Adebiyi commended Dr. Kofamata for his excellent track record while in office, noting to his reputation. The charges have sparked widespread debate, with some viewing the case as a test of the balance between free speech and defamation laws in Nigeria. And that's what we have on Tracking the Week.
Now we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. German authorities are facing questions about security and what they knew about the suspect accused of using an access lane for emergency vehicles to drive into a Christmas market in Magdeburg, killing 5 people and injuring more than 200. On a visit on Saturday, politicians were heckled by members of the public, some seemingly outraged by what was criticized as a security lapse. German authorities have defended the market layout and security. Authorities are also fielding questions after reports they were warned last year about the suspect with police, saying they had evaluated whether the suspect might be a threat a year ago. The suspect has been ordered into pre-trial detention on count of murder, attempted murder and dangerous bodily harm, usually at drinking mulled wine, but this year the mood is very different. The main Christmas market is cordoned off by tape and surrounded by police vans as armed officers patrol the shops and malls nearby. There is sadness in the air in Magdeburg, as well as bafflement and anger as people ask how could this have happened. Israel ordered the closure and evacuation on Sunday of one of the last hospitals still partly functioning in a besieged area on the northern edge of the Gaza Strip, forcing medics to search for a way to bring hundreds of patients and staff to safety. The head of the Kamal Adwan Hospital in Beit Lahia, Hussam Abu Safia, told newsmen that obeying the order to shut down, the Israeli military did not respond to a request for comment on Abu Safia's remarks. On Friday, it said he had sent fuel and food supplies to the hospital and helped evacuate more than 100 patients and caregivers to other Gaza hospitals, some in coordination with the Red Cross for their own safety. The hospital is one of the only ones still partially functioning in the once crowded northern area, historically shielded away from threatening allies and using bellicose rhetoric when dealing with counterparts. Still on foreign news, Cyclone Chido has killed 94 people in Mozambique since it made landfall in the East African country last week. The country's National Institute of Risk and Disaster Management said 768 people were injured and more than 622,000 people affected by the natural disaster in some capacity. Chido hit Mozambique on 15 December with winds of 260 km per hour and 250 meters of rainfall in the first 24 hours. The same cyclone had first wreaked havoc in the French Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte before moving on to Mozambique, Malawi and Zimbabwe. In Mozambique, the storm struck northern provinces that are regularly battered by cyclones. It first reached Cabo Delgado, then traveled further inland to Nyasa and Nampula. The country's INGD said the cyclone impacted the education and health sector. More than 109,793 students were affected, with school infrastructure severely damaged. Some 52 sanitary units were damaged, the INGD said, which further risked access to essential health services. At least 38 people have died and more than 100 others remain missing after a ferry carrying passengers traveling for Christmas capsized on a river in the northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo, according to officials and witnesses. 20 people have been rescued so far after the ferry sank late on Friday in the Busira River. It was traveling as part of a convoy